Hello friends, welcome to Open House. Today, I've got Bryant Lovette in the house, and we're going to be talking about fall factors. So, buyers, historically, should not shop in the fall because there's just not much to shop from, and nobody, they get the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
The leaves aren't on the trees. They should never, ever, ever, ever shop in the fall.
False.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And then Bryant dropped a knowledge bomb, a little perspective shift that I think is super valuable. So we wanted to make a video that unpacked this a little bit more. We made a shorter one.
Yep.
And Bryant kind of did some bullet points, but let's take out our shovel, the knowledge shovel, and let's dig a hole that will shift your perspective.
Yeah, that's it. I'm excited.
That was the craziest thing I've ever said. The knowledge shovel. Okay, so Bryant, you're a buyer specialist.
Yeah.
In our company, you're a buyer specialist. What is that? What does that mean?
Yeah. Buyer specialists focus solely on buyers. We call them buyer specialists on our team because that's literally their specialty. I am not the person that you call if you want to sell your home. The reason why I haven't placed myself in that role is so that our buyers can be, they can be in a position where they're counting on me and the other buyers on our team to focus on them, to be there at their beckoning call, to serve them and serve them alone. It's even more valuable in a hot market, but it's valuable throughout the entire year. What you focus on most is what you tend to master. And so what we've chosen to do with Lovette Properties is create specialists. You specialize in this, and then therefore if you're mastering that area, the buyer is only getting more value. So that's what I do. I only focus on buyers.
So it's like a pediatrician, a heart surgeon, a oncologist. I mean,
yeah,
they're dealing with something that they're specialized in, that maybe the pediatrician would refer you out to that specialist.
Yeah.
Because they see it day in, day out, day in, day out. And I think that this is an important thing to maybe touch on briefly, but it's even with doctors, they're just practicing. They're practitioners of their craft, right? So they're diagnosing, they're practicing, they're diagnosing things. In the same way, the buyer's agent, this buyer specialist, is day in, day out. He's looking at the market, he's looking at the x-ray, right?
Yeah.
And he's seeing what is the market doing, and this being the market, what is our best line of attack against this market for the buyer?
Yeah.
Right? So the doctor, how do we combat this disease?
Sure. And
the buyer specialist, how do we position our buyers inside of the current market?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. You acquire this knowledge over time, for sure. So experience is the mother of all training and all teaching. But you can certainly adjust. You can certainly learn, and you can certainly bring on knowledge as you go relatively quickly.
Okay.
And so that's one reason why we create these videos, is both for the buyer that's watching, the seller that's watching, also for the agents that are watching.
Okay.
I praise the agent that is hungry to learn more and to do it quickly, and then to serve their clients well. 10 years in the business for Lovette Properties, that's important. That right there shows that you've seen different markets. You've seen the economy be in different places. You've seen outrageous sellers markets. You've seen outrageous buyers markets. We've seen a lot of different things. And so pulling all that data together and then being able to translate it, communicate it to our clients is a huge resource.
Right. Okay. So let's dive into the first area that we're going to talk about. There's a pretty widespread thought by, I would say, the majority. The majority thinks that the fall is not a good time to buy a house because there's not as much to choose from and the options are limited. So I would say the majority thinks that spring, both seller and buyer, they both think that, oh, spring.
Yeah.
Speak to that.
Yeah. I believe it's a misconception. And that is my opinion. That is from my vantage point. And you will hear other opinions and you will see from different vantage points. But I believe it's a misconception because just because the fall is labeled the ugly twin
Yeah.
in the family,
Uh-huh.
you do have some serious pros in purchasing in the fall. Does it come with its cons? Absolutely. Does the spring have its set of cons? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a misconception that the fall is the season to stay away from.
Right. So inventory is low all around. We see a shortage in houses. Period. Right.
In a growing market, especially one like ours, we're here in Wake County, North Carolina, it's growing.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yes, you're right. Inventory is low across the board, regardless of the season.
Right. So not the only, but one of the things that fluctuates that you hit on in the Fall Factors video is that the inventory is low. That's the constant right now.
Yeah.
But the thing that is fluctuating is the amount of buyers in the different markets.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So speak to like what does that mean? Because it's when it was coming out of my mouth, it sounded like a different language. So maybe you can help people actually understand what that actually means.
Sure. So I mean, really fast, I don't want to bore anybody, but mathematically speaking, let's say we have 300 listings listed over here,
Okay.
300 listings listed over here. If you have the fall and then you have the spring, okay, yes, there are 300 here, but there are 200 buyers. Over here you have 300 homes, but 400 buyers.
Gotcha.
That's what we're dealing with. If you want to see it more realistically speaking, obviously you would have more homes for sale in the spring.
Sure.
You just have more buyers buying, and therefore that is going to make the market more stressful. It's going to make the buying season as a whole tense. Days on market is shorter. You have in the fall, you might have a little bit more time on the market, and therefore things tend to be a little bit more relaxed. And I say that carefully. I don't want to give buyers the wrong idea that you can just sit on a house that is perfect. Because if you think it's perfect, there's a really good chance someone else thinks it's perfect.
Right.
But for the most part, it is very much relaxed in comparison to a spring market.
Gotcha. So spring is going to be you need to sprint, and then in fall it's going to be more of a jog.
Yeah.
A jog with a burst. It's going to be like a HIIT workout, right? You're going to be okay. We can do some lower intensity, but we have that high intensity moment of this is the house. We need to move.
Yeah.
And you said something else that I thought was really, really interesting for anyone watching. Be in constant contact with an agent who knows what properties are going to fly and what properties are going to sit.
Yeah.
Because an experienced agent will be able to tell you, of course, there's, stuff happens every day, but with the experience and the information they have, they're going to be able to guide you, to counsel you, to say, this house is going to be gone in 2 hours, we need to place an offer now.
Yeah.
And this house, we can go back and see it tomorrow, that's fine. They need to be able to tell you, a lot of agents, and I got to rant for a second. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of agents out there who are just constantly pressuring, place an offer.
Sure.
When it's not in the best interest of their client.
Yeah.
And their client is their fiduciary, which is a relationship of trust. There's a reason that real estate agents at large are at the bottom next to, who are they next to on the trust rankings?
I don't know.
They're next to like senators and congressmen.
Yeah, maybe lawyers.
And lawyers.
Yeah.
I mean, they're down at the bottom because I just do not think that it's a, we need to change that culture. We need to lead by example.
Yeah,
and
which starts with knowledge.
You need to know your market.
Know your market, know your client, and then be honest with the client.
Yeah.
If you don't know the market and you don't know your client, you're not a trustworthy representative. You're not a trustworthy. you're not in a trustworthy relationship.
Yeah.
If you're going to use the fiduciary word.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Cool. So there's a difference between the movie that you need to get tickets for as soon as they go on sale, and the movie that you have, that movie's like gonna flop. Nobody really thinks that they're gonna pay full price for that. They might wait till it goes to the cheap theater and then pay for what that would do. They're not gonna pay $10 to go see Kung Fu Panda 3.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they might, but
but it's not gonna sell out opening night.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Maybe that's a bad, Sharknado or some crazy Evil Dead 3. Nobody's going to see that movie. There may be a few people that want to go see that movie, but if it's like the new Star Wars, everybody's going to go.
Yeah.
And we know that in other terms, but we need to think about that in terms of houses.
Yes. Yeah. I think we have, to carry the movie analogy, you have the quality of the film that will dictate whether or not people are all over it, right? Or you have how long has the movie been out?
Right.
Is it opening night? Or has the movie been out for 2 months? And if it's been out for 2 months or so, generally speaking, we don't rush to get to the movie. We don't buy our tickets in advance. And like you said, we might even pay for the cheap theater versus the full price ticket.
Gotcha.
Same thing in houses. Houses are going to be, they're going to be hot when they go on the market for the first time. They're the newest kid on the block. They're the most interesting, exciting thing on the market.
Right.
That's when there's that pressure that every buyer feels, specifically in the spring, but you'll even feel it when the home goes on the market the first day in the fall. So how long has it been active? And the only point that I'm making in correlation with the fall and spring here is that the fall, statistically speaking, the home will be on the market for longer. It'll be on the market for more days. And if that's the case, buyers will show up to that party a little bit less pressured. And if that's the case, you might be able to negotiate a little bit stronger with a seller. You might be able to get a price discount. You might very well be able to. Show up to the party slower, which means you see the home a couple times, or you see it with your in-laws, and so that reality of high pressure versus a little bit less pressure can change the game, and every buyer is going to tick a little bit differently. So I would beg every buyer that's watching this to ask themselves, who am I? Who am I as a buyer?
Right.
And am I a buyer that likes the frenzy of a spring market? Am I a buyer that might want things to be a slight bit more relaxed?
Yeah.
And you hit on it last time. We're in Wake County. The market's growing.
Right.
So to a certain degree, the pressure is still applied.
Right. It's not quite it's just not quite the same as the spring. The inventory overall is still in that 1 to 2 month. I mean, it's still short.
Yeah.
And so it's not. I mean, we're still not in that 3 to 5. I mean, certain areas are.
Yeah.
But
certain price points.
And certain price points as well. That definitely dictates a lot of these things. But overall, spring 2 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe 48 hours.
Yeah.
Tops.
Yeah.
If you didn't get the price right, if you got the price right, you were gone.
Yeah.
If you didn't price right, that's the only. I would argue that's the only time in our market in the spring that you sat.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're over $1 million, over $800,000, the pool of buyers that can afford that house is smaller. Your days on market is a little bit longer.
Yes.
But I mean, now in the fall,
yeah,
we still see it might not be 2 hours, it might not be 48 hours, but it's still sub 30 days.
Yeah.
Which to a lot of people around the country is insane.
That is insane. Yeah.
People when they think sub 30 days, they think, wow, your market's smoking hot.
Yep.
And we're getting kind of jaded because the past few years have been so, you put it on, it's gone. You put it on, it's gone. New house?
Yeah.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah. 14 days, 15 days, 20 days, 30 days on market starts to feel like a long time for a lot of my buyers. And if they get that sense, then they won't be quite as eager to jump on a home with an offer. So
Right.
the pace tends to ease up just a bit.
This is kind of an interesting wrench into the system, but if you have trouble making a decision, if you have trouble actually saying this is it, we've got to move on this, if you're not decisive, I might argue that the best time for you is the spring, because the spring forces your hand a little bit. If you know that you need to be in a house and you've got to make a decision, but you usually are in this analysis paralysis, that market dictates that it's going to push you into making a decision. Whereas in the fall, if you don't struggle with analysis paralysis, you'll make a decision when the time's right for you. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to know yourself well enough to know, do I need a little bit of incentive? Do I need to have that fear of loss to make me really make a decision? Or do I not need that fear of loss because it'll crush me? And it'll be too stressful and I don't want that. Fall's a better time. Yeah.
Yeah, every buyer is going to be different. So we have pros, we have cons to both seasons. Everyone is going to deal to a certain degree or another with this issue of necessity. And if they're dealing with an issue of necessity, then what's driving that? Are my kids up against a school deadline? Is my job moving me? Do I need an extra bedroom? The baby's on the way. What factors are involved in the reason why you need to purchase a home? And therefore, that can very much force you into a given market. So know yourself, but also, depending on why you're moving, you need to know the market because you may not have a choice.
That's true. It's very good.
So knowing the market, working with a real estate agent that's going to accurately depict what's going on in the market is so crucial because most of us buy out of necessity.
Yeah.
Most of us.
That's good. That's good. Just a kind of an odd question, but have you seen buyers in the fall and winter? Would you say that person, when they move in a week before Thanksgiving, is happier or not as happy as the buyer that buys in the spring?
That's a really good question. If it's the right home, they're going to be thrilled either way.
Okay. I didn't know if there was just some type of endorphin that's triggered because of holidays.
Yeah.
And it's just this incredible, we just bought a house and there go the lights and
the holidays play a huge role. Sentiment with the holidays plays a huge role. You don't even think about Christmas lights and the Christmas tree and the mantle that your stockings are going to hang off of and the size of the dining room for the dining room table. You don't even think about these things in the spring. Whereas you're purchasing in the fall, you can't help but think of Thanksgiving. Or think of Christmas soon coming.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. That definitely plays a part. There is a certain sentiment attached to the holidays.
Yeah, that's. Sure. I think it's really interesting because the fall, I wonder why the fall gets such a bad rap. Is it because more, all the leaves are in the yard? Is it more seller driven than buyer driven? Because the seller, we got to rake up all these leaves every day. The trees are losing the leaves. Nothing's as pretty.
Sure.
Does that play into the common misconception, do you think?
It could. It could. Sellers could very well have the perspective themselves, and we do this all the time, right? We do this in our relationships. We do this in our businesses. What I think truth is, therefore, is what I act upon.
Right.
So therefore, they don't even list their home till the spring. Well, if you don't have a home to buy because a seller's not listing it, well, then it's going to create more of a spring market.
Right.
So yes, I think that does have a part to play. Sellers do want to sell their home when the flowers are blooming and the trees are full and you might see Bambi running across the backyard.
Of course.
But I would say that ultimately speaking, buyers simply have this inventory thing all mixed up. And some buyers are thinking, I simply want 1,000 homes to choose from. And they're not considering the fact that you might have 1,000 options in front of you, but you have to make a decision on one of them very quickly.
Yeah.
In the fall, you have less to choose from, and some people don't like that, and therefore it could very well be buyer driven that the spring is the better time to buy. But what they inevitably find themselves in the middle of is a season where, oh my gosh, honey, do we really have to make this decision right now? We just saw it 2 hours ago.
Right.
So all of a sudden they're kicking themselves because they're buying in the midst of a market that is so seller friendly.
Yeah.
That they might very well find themselves wishing they had purchased in a less intense or crazy market.
Yeah.
So that is, I think buyers simply think to themselves, oh, I want 1,000 homes to choose from.
Right.
It's not necessarily all that it's made up to be. Yeah, and when you do find the right home and you do find that perfect home, if you think it's perfect, there are going to be 1,000 other people that think it's perfect.
Yeah.
And so the spring is difficult. The spring is an awesome time to buy. Everything looks gorgeous. Neighborhoods look gorgeous. Lots look gorgeous.
Right.
I like purchasing in the fall because it kind of strips some of those things away a little bit.
Right. It takes off a little bit of the glitter.
Yeah.
Of seeing a home when it's at its very best.
Yeah.
You see it at, in the fall, maybe average, and then winter poor, or gloomy, or whatever.
Yeah.
You see it in the off season.
Yeah, you
which
see
is
it.
cool.
You see it in a state that looks a lot less manicured.
Okay.
To some people, a lot less beautiful. To some people, you see it in winter and it's the most beautiful thing on the planet. But no doubt, when you see a home, it's kind of like seeing property in the rain. Doesn't anyone like seeing property in the rain? No, especially not this guy. But when I actually go see property in the rain, I see a home for what I can't see on a sunny day.
Right. Where is the water sitting?
Yes.
Is this going to have some weird flooding that we had no idea was going to happen?
Yeah.
Is the roof leaking?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's very valuable.
Very eye-opening.
Having shown property through Hurricane Matthew a weekend ago, that was eye-opening.
Yes.
Oh my, this is what happens to your backyard when you get this much water.
Yes.
And
yes.
You wouldn't have known otherwise.
Right.
And so buying in the fall is kind of like that same parallel. It's all of a sudden I'm seeing a home in a state that I didn't realize existed back in the spring. I didn't know my lot could look this bare.
Right.
Or man, the grass is brown. It just doesn't look the same. And
so the buyer gets a little bit more time into doing that due diligence.
Yeah.
To really understanding what they're buying.
Yeah.
A little bit better.
That way they don't wake up in the fall, purchasing in the spring, waking up in the fall going, what did I buy?
Yes, yes.
What do I now own?
It's cool. So, again, kind of a blanket statement, but do you think that it's possible that potential buyer's remorse happens more for the spring buyer than the fall buyer?
Yes.
I'm going to leave it right there.
Yes.
Okay, so, buyers. I posted this on Twitter not too long ago, and it's a poll. And on it, we talk about a few different things of buyers and how they rank importance. The question is this. What room is the most important to a buyer? There's 4 options, okay? We've got kitchen, we've got master bath, we've got living room, we've got master bedroom. I'm going to ask the buyer specialist what he thinks the answer is.
Kitchen.
Kitchen.
100%.
100% kitchen.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. It was so definitive and clear. I love that. Kitchen. So, if you're a buyer, is that true? Leave a comment.
Yeah.
If you're a seller and you're asking, where should I put money?
Yeah.
Kitchen.
Put it in the kitchen. Yeah, statistically speaking, most of my buyers are enthralled with an awesome, beautiful kitchen, or they are turned off by that house that has everything, square footage, bedroom count, has maybe the land they're looking for, but man, the kitchen just needs to be completely redone, or I can't see my kids doing homework at this counter, things like that.
So the kitchen is everything. Go over to at LoveItProp on Twitter and vote yourself. If you think that we are wrong and that kitchen is not in fact the most important house inside of a home, it's not the most important room inside of your house, then vote there. Let your voice be heard.
Yeah.
And just a few more quick thoughts. Bryant,
yes.
How can people find you, talk to you, reach out to you, follow you?
Yeah, all the social media networks. So
Which one's your favorite right now?
I love Snapchat. I'm on Snapchat at BLoveIt44. You can find me on there. So come chat, hang out with me on there. But Instagram at Bryant Lovette. So it's just my first and last name. You can find me on Facebook, Bryant Lovette. Twitter is also at Bryant Lovette. So apparently I'm lucky in just getting my name.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. So if anyone has any real estate questions, you can of course reach out on social, or if you want to get in direct contact with Bryant, not via some social network.
Yeah.
Bryant
At
Lovette Properties.
LoveItProperties.com. That's my email address. You can reach me directly. One thing I have the honor and joy of saying is that most of my clients become my friends. And so I love that about my business over the past 6 to 10 years. I love that. We have so many great people that come through Lovette Properties and get a chance to work alongside of us. And so, yeah, hit me up on social media. Love to talk to you. Love to hang out with you guys.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Open House. If you have anything that you'd like us to make an open house about, leave a comment, shoot him a tweet, Snapchat me, or hit him on Instagram. And we'll get back to you as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Hope you guys have a great day.
See you guys.